Play in Earlier Years presentation. Within the presentation, we will discuss theory and best practice in relation to play and learning, including reference to real-life practice, the 3 enablers, and the 4 pedagogical features in providing and enhancing play opportunities. To define play, Vygotsky 1978 stated that play is an activity which is desired by children, involves imaginary situations, and it involves rules. In contrast, Rubin et al. Argues play is free from those imposed rules. Furthermore, play is the purest, most spiritual product. It gives joy, freedom, contentment, inner and outer rest. And the conceptualization and practice of play is considered to be core of early childhood pedagogy. There is a continuum of play which allows teachers to recognise and value a variety of different play experiences. One end of the continuum is strongly child-led, whereas the other is very much teacher-directed. The PowerPoint slide shows a diagram of play which states there are 3 types of play: play-based learning, guided play, and free play. Play-based learning occurs when the enabling adult plans for play-based experiences with the learning intentions. Guided play is very much child-centred with teacher-child collaboration. The practitioner plans the effective environment and the resources to create an engaging environment for learners. The enabling adult follows the lead of the child. Furthermore, free play is when children have full control over their play. Thus, play is directed by the interests of the learners. In free play experiences, the enabling adult observes and reflects. Having introduced play in education, I will now discuss the documentation and legislation surrounding play. According to the Welsh Government, play is so critically important to all children in the development of their physical, social, mental, emotional and creative skills that society should seek every opportunity to support it and create an environment that fosters it. Decision making at all levels of government should include a consideration of the impact of those decisions on children's opportunity to play. Furthermore, the Welsh Government revised the Foundation Phase framework and stated that children should have the opportunity to explore and investigate and use indoor and outdoor learning activities, and also to be involved in different types of play and a range of planned activities, including those that are child initiated. These criteria are presented in the framework of personal and social development, creativity, language literacy and communication, mathematics and Welsh, which highlights the importance of play in education, as according to the Welsh Government 2015, play must be integrated into all areas of the curriculum. Furthermore, to emphasise the need for play in education, the United Nations Conventions of the Rights of the Child has recognised play as a right. Article 31 of the UNCRC enshrines children's right to play and the right to engage in recreational activities. Following on from Article 31, every child deserves the opportunity to develop to their own unique potential, and that the opportunity to play is a crucial role in reaching that full potential, showing the significance of Article 31. Having discussed documentation surrounding play, I will now discuss the purpose of play in education. Play, as well as learning, are natural components of children's lives. When children are asked what they like to do best, the answers are unanimous: to play. On the other hand, education for children is, on the whole, organised to promote learning rather than play. However, play should not be sidelined in primary school. Play should be seen as an integral part of education, as according to Vygotsky 1977, play creates a zone of proximal development in a child. Furthermore, play is seen as an essential part of learning and development for children, as play enhances the holistic development of all learners. The benefits of play are essential to allowing a child to develop appropriately. During play, children tend to behave above their average age and above their daily behaviours. When children are given opportunities to play, the child improves in every developmental aspect, showing the positive impacts of play. Furthermore, play is an essential part of creative approaches to learning and teaching. Additionally, play can be used to increase social skills, engagement, motivation, enjoyment, creativity and imagination, and also allows risks in learning situations. Furthermore, the government 2015 stated that through play, children practice and consolidate their learning, play with ideas, experiment, take risks, solve problems, and make decisions individually and in small and large groups. First-hand experiences allow children to develop an understanding of themselves and the world in which they live in. The development of children's self-image and feelings of self-worth and self-esteem are at the core, showing the significance of play in education, thus offering children authentic and purposeful learning experiences, one of the 4 pedagogical features. As previously stated, the continuum of play stretches from teacher-led to child-initiated play. Each end of the continuum has its own purpose. A benefit of play-based learning is that learners have the freedom to explore, to make mistakes, to investigate, and to try trial and error, enabling deeper contextualised learning, thus allowing for more authentic, purposeful, and engaging experiences. Nevertheless, each continuum of play is not without its limitations. A barrier to play-based learning is that children may not have the freedom to express their imagination due to the strict lesson outcomes. Jess will further talk about this later. On clinical practice, a balance of play-based learning and free play was observed. It was thought that this approach was very beneficial as each play has its own benefits, as previously stated. In support of this balance between teacher-led and child-initiated play, Saja Blatchford and Sylvia stated that the most beneficial practice is achieved through a balance between teacher-initiated group work and free play. However, a limitation is that, according to Thomas and Lewis, many teachers find it challenging to achieve this balance. From clinical practice, an activity that stays in my mind was a bows and arrows task. In this task, learners were asked to create arrows using sticks and decorate them afterwards using wool. After discussions with the teacher, it was learned that this task was planned to be a guided play activity. However, it was felt that the mission was seen as a play-based learning due to the instructional nature and outcome-driven reasoning of the task. The teacher presented the children with step-by-step instructions and limited resources to decorate the arrows, not allowing the children with very much freedom. The children were instructed specifically to create an arrow, and therefore, if a child wanted to create something other than an arrow, but using the same process, they would be seen as wrong, even though they're developing the same skills, showing the restrictions of play-based learning. In this task, the enabling adult was observed to be modelling the activity and supporting the children, while also observing other learners. The enabling adult intervened in the activity when she felt necessary to ensure the physical and emotional safety of learners. Furthermore, the forest was an effective environment for the children, as it allowed the children to express themselves physically, creatively, and imaginatively, while also offering risk and challenge and supporting learners to develop resilience, confidence, and independence. The mission is seen as an engaging experience as it supported children to develop social and communication skills. Furthermore, it enhanced children's independence, offering challenge and the opportunity to experience success. To improve this mission task, it would be beneficial to follow the teacher's original intention for the activity to be guided play. For example, the enabling adult could ask the children to create something of interest using items of nature, for example, sticks and leaves, rather than a specific arrow, making this mission much more process-driven and much more child-led. This will allow for children to use their imagination and creativity skills. This activity allows for further engaging experiences, as the guided play aspect would allow for the learners to follow their choices and interests, providing the children with greater independence and more beneficial, engaging experiences. Also, in this child-led task, it would be beneficial for the enabling adult to carry out in-depth observations of the children to gauge their interest by observing what they decided to create, enabling the teacher to plan lessons and activities which incorporate these interests, leading to further engaging experiences. Furthermore, it was observed the teacher would work with a focus group and the remaining pupils would be participating in free play. It was witnessed that the teacher would rarely engage with the free play aspect, resulting in missed opportunity for observation, one of the 4 key pedagogical features, thus failing to meet the criteria of an enabling adult. Yet, from school experience, it was observed that the teachers would state that the demands of the curriculum do not allow for rich engagement within play. However, practitioners cannot argue that there is not sufficient time for observation because, according to Zalasso et al., a rich observation of play can be obtained within the first 9 minutes of an observation. The presentation will now be passed on to Jess for her to present her slides.
So alongside benefits of play, there are also constraints of play. Although there are many advantages of learning through play, there are also some disadvantages that follow. Murta, Salwalma and Martin, 2022, carried out multiple studies on play-based learning and found multiple constraints of this learning. So the first one is confusion around the role of the teacher. Students may be blindsided through play of the importance of the teacher and in their learning due to constant distractions of the play. This may result in poor auditory skills and defiance when following orders. And it's essential for students to know that teachers take on the facilitator of learning processes rather than the provider of knowledge. There can also be insufficient resources, and this way of learning can be expensive due to the cost of resources and the equipment required to make this effective. Examples of these are lack of blocks, board games, writing materials, and not having these practical tasks can reduce the likelihood of recall of content. Space constraints, as some classrooms may not provide the space needed to maximise the development of the educational potential that play brings. And children can learn through experiences and through senses, ensuring they have the access to the suitable space in order to feel these experiences are important. As well as this, parental expectations. So parents prefer academic instruction over play, as they believe there are no great benefits of play. However, without play, these areas of development are inhibited, such as social skills, teamwork and imagination. As well as this, a lack of provision, as teachers may find it difficult to understand how play activities lead to learning, and having this may inhibit teachers' ability to implement play in the classroom, which also affects the child's development. So principles of play. Play is seen as one of the most important ways for young children to gain essential knowledge and skills, and due to this, promoting opportunities for play and exploration and hands-on learning are deemed as vital in primary programmes. Play is considered a right for children and significant in a child's optimal development. As well as this, it supports domains of development such as physical, cognitive, social and emotional development. Children have a natural desire to explore and play. So play helps engage, challenge, energise and promote a focused mind. And in order for educators to respond, support and challenge students through play, they should carry out a number of aspects such as observing, so looking how the children play, who they play with and what their interests are to ensure when planning for the play-based learning, it will engage the individuals. They should listen to their discussions and how they interpret things. They should question and ask students what they like to play with, who they like to play with, and their areas of interest so that the play-based learning accommodates all individuals. They should provide feedback to ensure that positive play is praised and to help students who may require assistance if it's proving difficult for them. They should engage in reciprocal communication, and it shouldn't just be one-sided, so they should get involved in communication and really ensure they're listening, and provide explicit instructions, so clear and simple, to make sure that all students are on board. So within play, there should be an enabling adult. So during play, there should always be someone who observes the individuals whilst this occurs to direct and support the learning. Enabling adults support play through joining in by supporting the students through extending, validating, initiating their thoughts and ideas. Enabling adults observe the play and the interactions between individuals, and this can be used in future play-based learning. So the play work principles include 8 principles that explain how children can develop and learn in a positive manner. So the impulse to play is innate. It's biological, social, and a psychological need. Therefore, children need to play. Play is a process personally directed and intrinsically motivated, and the prime focus is to support and facilitate the play process. The role of the teacher is to support all children in the creation of a space in which they can play and learn, and responding to the children based on the knowledge of their play process and reflective practice. The teachers should recognise their own impact on the students' play and learning, and ensure the children engage in the play which extends their learning to each individual's capability. The enabling adult must ensure they offer the opportunity to play freely as well, so they can make their own decisions and develop independence. The Playwork Principles group in Cardiff believe that teachers should adopt these roles in order to support the children's play, and they should stand back and not intervene unless necessary. Play will contribute towards the individual's development of health and well-being. So my personal experience was when I observed a group of children using a toy kitchen, and this develops the learning of social boundaries, sharing, imagination, creativity, and communicating between one another. I found that they'd all join in with one another, sharing the roles, such as cooking, washing up, and giving the food to others to enjoy. These experiences enable them to learn different skills whilst maintaining the focus through entertainment. The enabling adult did not interfere with the play, and instead asked questions such as what is the object used for, why they wanted to be that role in the kitchen, and this gets the children thinking and can teach them the basic knowledge that they need as they get more independent and start using the kitchen in their house. So the role of the teacher in play is to provide a consistent but adaptable timetable which involves both child and the adult guiding learning experiences. Children should provide an appropriate play environment. Teachers, should provide an appropriate play environment and materials to engage gross motor skills. And it's important for the teacher to be able to recognise goals of the education and understand how learning through play works. And once understanding this, teachers should be able to cater to each child's needs. How do you plan for teaching through play? Aino studied the roles of the teachers in play-based learning and concluded several ways in which teachers can effectively link the relationships between learning and play pedagogy. So these are observing the interests of children whilst they are engaging in play. And this will help to highlight the key themes and the skill development areas which can be utilised through resources, scaffolding learning, and give instructions which are appropriate. The classroom environment where the students engage in play, as teachers must consider inclusion of resources and learning material which will engage and motivate children in their play, and more so consider the layout of the classroom that optimises the space. It is important to recognise how students play in both the indoor and outdoor space, as they should be able to discover different sensory and physical experiences within each environment that may support them in their learning. Teachers should maintain the importance of the child-led play and not direct the children, whilst enabling teachers plan to respond to their students' learning needs and interests as they play. So the final personal experience is I observed the task of building a tower using blocks to make a certain height. As I say, we're learning about measurements and distances. So the groups were based on ability to ensure that they were all able to support each other and keep a steady flow of learning. They were also sat in groups. Who were most likely to least likely to be distracted. So the more distracted people would be sat at the front. And they were all sat in circles to engage everyone in the play and ensure everyone was participating. Components such as these will ensure that the teacher can keep a controlled classroom, but allow the students to freely play with the blocks and create their own towers whilst learning about measurements and distance. The enabling adult would intervene if the groups were finding the task difficult and ensured that all members of each group were participating, so they were all learning equally. Allowing space for the groups to come up with their own ideas and creations will ensure that they don't get other ideas put in their head and they can be independent and work together as a team. I will now pass the next part of the presentation on to Bethyn.
Thank you, Kate. Planning for play and learning. Planning for indoor-outdoor lessons are integral to teaching practices, play and learning. As mentioned by Jess, adult observations can form the basis of planning for pedagogy and creating awareness of a child's knowledge, experiences, interests and likes and dislikes, coupled with any individual learning and development needs. By planning a play-based learning curriculum, breaking down lesson planning into long-term, medium-term and short-term actions and activities, practitioners can offer open-ended play, learning and provide for individual needs. Long-term covers a year's worth of planning, incorporated topics and the curriculum objectives for the upcoming autumn term. There should be continuous provisions available to ensure children get the most out of the play and focus on having fun. Medium term, on the other hand, is usually based on an academic term broken down into week-by-week lessons and linked to enhanced provision where further materials and resources are provided to challenge and differentiate learning. Whereas short-term planning covers focused provision and can take place weekly or daily and has a level of flexibility to embrace child interests and learning needs. Piaget established 5 types of play: functional, symbolic and constructive play, together with physical activity play and formal games. To create these play opportunities, adults should consider both indoor and outdoor spaces, coupled with providing resources aimed towards children's interests. As expressed by the Welsh Government, children of early years, foundation phase age, learn through play, exploration and using their senses and tapping into the world around them, together with emotive activities and self-directed learning experiences. Planning the resources for play for indoor-outdoor use should allow for areas to make noise, be quiet, to explore, read and investigate, with chosen resources to meet individual needs and provide equal opportunities with freedom of choice and to play with items that interest them. All these elements will help children consolidate consolidate existing learning and a chance to gain new skills. Ideally, the following resource areas should be available and are as follows: role play, construction, mark making or office, maths, water and sand areas, workshop, malleable materials like messy clay or dough, music, whether that be listening or making, painting and a book corner, IT and movement play areas. Although resources are important to play, so are time, space and loose materials. Time set aside and incorporated into lesson plan, together with the available space and materials available, are key to the optimum play and learning experience, with an environment to accommodate it. The Department of Welsh Education 2009 suggests play, especially the foundation phase, should offer lengthy and frequent outdoor play as well as indoors. Allow for free autonomous movement between the indoor and outdoor environment. Space necessary for adult and child observation as it aids children to further develop activities such as den building, role play and communication. Overy 2003 highlights how outdoor space can help children to engage in a deeper level of fantasy play and to develop and learn resilience, playfulness and reciprocity. However, T1 argues that space not only signifies freedom and openness, but also the potential of threat when outdoors. Loose materials quoted by Nicholson are said to be all things that satisfy one's curiosities and give us the pleasure that results from discovery and invention. Nicholson also points out that loose parts environment is a holistic concept which includes the solid structures such as walls and fences as well as creative materials. Whereas Norrin Bjorn suggests loose materials are of crucial significance in enriching play. Parental permission and correct clothing and footwear are also a necessity to take advantage of the outdoors in all weathers, with pre-planning for permission as a necessity. Turning our attention to outdoor play resources in the environment, the outdoor learning environment provides an alternative learning environment, one where learning is inescapable, with nature lending itself to an organic environment to entice and attract a level of interest which can appeal to a child's curiosity and desire to explore the unknown, therefore heightening children's senses, capturing and attracting a pupil's desire to investigate and learn something new, whilst being challenged by the outdoor surroundings. Risk assessment and benefits to risky play. With the outdoors comes challenge and risk, so therefore planning for the outdoors needs to cover both risks and hazards. However, with risk comes the opportunity to develop new skills, build and test a child's confidence, where they can experience boundaries, challenges and discover and grow their capabilities against the backdrop of being aware of the hazards around them. Identifying hazards outdoors. Hazards are commonplace in daily life and play, and in the natural environment is no different, although requiring addressing by the adults prior to play taking place. To ensure the safest environment possible. These can be in areas of loss of landscape, as plants can have sharp leaves and be poisonous or irritants, maybe having trip hazards like uneven surfaces, broken paving or trees that have fallen, with all equipment requiring inspection for damages also, and ensuring water features are covered or protected prior to play commencing. However, whilst exploring in nature, the role of the teacher or teaching assistant can play a crucial part in pointing out such dangerous plants, fruits, trees, etc. to help children manage risk. See the inserted links for more information relating to risk and dangerous plants. The environment in its outdoor setting offer variety. Bruce 2012 suggests outdoor areas should offer adventurous and challenging play and provide a well-planned outdoor area. Should have pathways, hiding areas, tunnels, concealed entrances and exits which invite exploration and a sense of adventure. Whilst other outdoor environments like the Frobelian Garden promoted a holistic approach of gardens with play equipment, materials, making for direct, flexible and tangible experiences, whilst offering free choice and self-exploration to discover how to grow vegetables, fruits, etc., but also a chance to be in touch with their senses, with the sounds of the birds, the insects, water and much more. However, even though the environment may provide lots of play, opportunities and resources, the enabled adults through observation and presence can offer a more engaging and reflecting experience, as suggested by Jess previously, within the environment by encouraging thinking and reflection, together with nurturing and supporting the child's free play. Forest schools came to the UK in 1993, designed to support children to play, explore and manage risks within the natural world, with the aim of children growing confidence and self-esteem through direct experiences within nature, offering up frequent opportunities for child-centred learning within a woodland or natural environment, with scaffolding where needed by a qualified forest school practitioner. Activities undertaken in forest schools can have many benefits, and such as building resilience, having social emotional risks, creating opportunities to build self-belief, self-guided learning and self-regulation through fun outdoor play. A forest school provider demonstrates a type of activities embarked upon in the forest schools, such as bushcraft with the safe use of tools, shelter building with natural or tarpaulin materials, fire lighting, campfire cooking, identifying plants, navigation skills, together with adventurous activities such as tree climbing. Continuing with the environment, going on to the enabling environments. An enabling environment should be one where a student has freedom of choice in their own learning, should be inclusive of all pupils and provide genuine learning experiences which are safe and secure, with an indoor-outdoor environment, within an indoor or outdoor environment. However, the enabling environment cannot stand alone, and all three enablers, enabling adults, engaging experiences, and affected environments, as we've seen previously from Caitlin and Jess, must work together to make for a successful, enjoyable play and learning indoor or outdoor settings. Effective environments should provide a platform for varied experiences, have high quality resources, be accessible, allow for learning over the 7 areas of learning and experience, and have space and displays present. From a child's perspective, the enabling environment should be safe, arouse interest, be encouraging, be a place to communicate, and offer a variety of areas of adventure and calm. Hodgman 2022. My school experience didn't consist much of any outdoor experience in play, so I thought I would include this here. On clinical practice, within a mixed class environment of reception and year 1 pupils, free play was something for reception class mostly, reception class children, which took place daily indoors and centred around a hut, which bridged the outdoors and provided indoor provisions set out and chosen by adults, with added elements for guided play to offer differentiation and challenge. Whilst the outdoor environment was easily linked to the indoor hut and offered an environment with a plethora of play and learning opportunities and total free choice play. Zoned areas displaying a racetrack with go-karts and scooters, car tyres, defined floor markings for physical exercise, zoned areas for messy play, mud pie making, construction area and a hut for quiet play and areas for arts and crafts. Other on-site facilities available with supervision were wooden climbing and drawbridge equipment, playing fields, tarmac for bikes and chalk play. However, within the 3 weeks of clinical practice, no enabling adult mentioned, as commented on by Jess, were out in the play at all, and no observation occurred due to time scales to provide core lessons, whilst juggling 2 different year groups with 1 teaching assistant who supports a child with learning needs, and the teacher also with a class of 25 students. But the observation that I undertook was rich. It saw a lot of communication and social mixing, which you don't necessarily always see indoors. There was a lot of communication as to, who was doing what and why they're doing that, and there were some squabbles obviously as well, but that's just what happens when play gets going. To conclude, from the research and theory obtained, play and learning are connected, with the Welsh Government and the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child championing children's rights to ensure play is at the heart of the learning and is built into the curriculum and world standards. Although the importance of play can sometimes be overlooked due to a strong focus centred around learning, with disadvantages of space and resource constraints, together with preferred parental academic desires for learning rather than play. Despite the several play options available, play-based learning, guiding play and free play, shown to provide options for continuum of play and development whilst children show physical, social, emotional and cognitive benefits. The enabling adult is integral to play and learning as they are the first link in the chain. They are key to supporting and understanding the children they teach as they aid children to play, develop and grow, whilst allowing children the freedom to explore and discover the world through child-led play. Pre-planning by adults for indoor and outdoor use provides the resources, time, space and materials to make the most of a child's play and learning experience, whilst capturing any health and safety measures and opportunities to explore the less frequented natural outdoor environments. For children to have the optimum play and learning experience, all three enablers, the engaging experiences, enabling adult and environment, must come together, although there are factors that often restrict this from occurring, such as resource and monetary issues. Thank you for listening.